Welcome to the Gallery of Dayak Iban Folklore. This is the last episode about the life of an Iban ancestor called Menggin. Episode 10 is the story of how Menggin managed to live a very long life. Menggin and the Antu Gayu. Soon, Sarah Bunting reached young manhood and learned how to do various kinds of men's work. Unfortunately, we found that in many ways he was unsuccessful, and due to this, people began to criticize him as being unworthy of his grandfather, Singgalang Burong. Sarah Gunting pondered these criticisms. He believed that he was unfortunate in his undertaking because he had not been given any charms by his grandfather. Therefore, he told his father, grandmother, and granduncle that he wished to return to Singgalang Burong's longhouse. They did not consent, but he insisted and went away anyway. As it happened, Sarah Gunting went away for so many years, leaving his father behind. To forget how much he missed his son, Menggin often went to the forest to shoot birds with his blowpipe. One day in the forest, he met a man who, like himself, was armed with a blowpipe. In the course of their conversation, each man claimed to be more skilled with his weapon than the other. After a vehement argument, the stranger challenged Menggin to a contest in which each would shoot 7 darts at a nearby rock. Whoever failed to make his darts penetrate the rock was to be killed by the winner. Menggin became exceedingly worried lest he should be the loser. As he was preparing to shoot, he noticed a pudu tree a few yards away, and thereupon asked his opponent to wait while he urinated. When Menggin reached the foot of the tree, he secretly pricked its bark with the end of a dart and applied the latex from the tree to the point of each of his darts. He then rejoined his opponent and shot his darts, all of which, with the help of the latex, stuck onto the rock. The stranger, in his turn, took up his blowpipe and began to shoot. Seeing that none of his opponent's darts stuck in the rock, Menggin drew his knife to kill him, as they had agreed. But the stranger at once protested. Menggin insisted that he must kill him according to their agreement. Then the stranger said, "Well, Menggin, if your darts had not stuck in the rock, I would not have slain you. Our shooting contest was merely a joke." Thereupon, Menggin's temper cooled down, and he agreed to spare the stranger's life, but only in return for a most valuable charm. "What charm?" asked the stranger. "A charm which will prevent me from dying," answered Menggin. The stranger protested that he had no such charm to give him, and suggested that he would present him with a valuable jar and a large gong. Still, Menggin insisted. Only in return for a charm against death would he agree to spare the stranger's life. After much argument, the stranger finally agreed, and handed to Menggin a piece of ubat buah dilah tanah, which literally meant a charm of the fruit of the land's tongue. Menggin tasted it and found it very bitter, so he spat it out. He tasted it again and found it was now very sweet. Again he spat, and the third time he found the taste was sour. After the third taste, the stranger handed him a stone, which was as big as a hen's egg, assuring Menggin that as long as he kept secret the story of their meeting, and of how he came to possess the charm, he would never die. He finally disclosed that he was Antu Gayu, who possessed the power of longevity. He then disappeared into the forest with his blowpipe. Menggin lived to such a great age that in the days of his great-great-great-grandson, his descendants grew tired of his presence. They constantly asked why he was so old and why he had outlived so many successive generations. He refused to satisfy their curiosity. Daily they asked the same question until he warned them that if they wished him to continue living, they must not question him further. In spite of his warnings, his family urged him to tell them why he could not die. Finally, he told them the story. As he spoke, he grew weaker, appeared to be ill, and his body became smaller and smaller. Before he disappeared from sight, he decreed that if any of a person's descendants of the fourth generation were living when he died, no mourning period need to be observed. Accordingly, to this day, no Daya Iban needs to mourn the death of a man who has lived to see his descendants down to the third generation, such as great-grandchildren. The stone which the Antu Gayu gave Menggin is still in the possession of Santap's grandchildren in Bugau territory to this day. And now, the story of Menggin is ended. See you in the next episode. Your host, Indai Sampurai.